Hey everybody, it's Mark C. Winters, and today I want to answer another question that we got from Brian in the LinkedIn group. And here's what Brian asked. He says, can a visionary develop over time? So Brian, my answer for you is yes, if. So let's talk about what really makes a visionary. If you think about it almost like a formula, a visionary equals their wiring plus something I'm going to call readiness. For today. So it's really sort of the classic nature-nurture combination that goes into making somebody a visionary. So if you think about the wiring piece of that, that's really their genetic encoding. Okay, so we talk a lot about that and how somebody's just made up, how they're born. And in a real visionary, it's the thing that makes them so strongly visionary that they can't just not. Right? I mean, they have to do it. They're compelled to do the kinds of things that we see a visionary do, whether it's the ideas that they're coming up with, or whether it's thinking ahead or out of the box. I mean, just all the things that we normally associate with a visionary. They can't not do that. That's how they're wired. Now, this other piece, I'm calling it readiness, and I want you to think about it as sort of a combination of experience and circumstance. And so this is really the environment, the nurture piece, right? And that environment, that experience, that circumstance can include a lot of different things. It might include how many different things they've been exposed to over time at this stage of their life, this stage of their career, just their maturity level in general, the life stage they're at. Are they married? Do they have kids? What's their financial situation? What's their family situation? What's their personal situation? There are a lot of things that go into whether somebody is going to be really ready to step into a visionary type role. So I want to give you 3 scenarios. So I got my good visual aid today, right? You guys love these. And if you think about a matrix, where on this side we've got their visionary wiring, so how they're encoded. And this is, highly visionary and not so visionary. And then the other side is this readiness level. They're ready to play the visionary, ready to be the visionary because of their circumstance and their experience, or not so much. So if you think about one scenario is, man, when they're wired that way and they're ready, they go. I mean, you can't stop them. They're going to go. They're going to be a visionary, and they're going to make the things happen that a visionary makes happen. And then there's another scenario here where they're wired that way, but for whatever reason, their circumstance, their experience just isn't ready yet, and they're going to feel kind of stuck, or they may feel trapped, depending on what that situation is that's keeping them or not letting them be ready. It could be a situation that someone else is imposing on them and holding them in kind of in that box. So they're not going to like that. And they're going to be working to move so they can get to the go square, right? And then another situation is somebody who's not quite as visionary, so they're not really wired that way, but they're ready, so they feel like they're ready to step into that role. And maybe if their visionary level is high enough, we'll see them start kind of testing the water. So they're kind of dipping their toe in and they're trying this or that to sort of test their visionary muscles, if you will, and see if it works. And then there's folks down here, they're just not wired much that way, and they're not really ready to do that. So they're just not really visionaries, and that's okay. So 2 ways I want to respond to kind of this mental model is, one, if you think you're a visionary that's developing over time, like Brian's question, then you need to know where you are in that matrix. What is your wiring and what is your readiness? Where do you sit today? If you are the owner of the business, then back to basics, back to rocket fuel, where we talk about the visionary spectrum and how much visionary does this particular business really need based on the complexity of the market they operate in, what your aspirations are for what that business is. And then knowing that, you might look in your organization and see if there's somebody who's developing along that path that may be the next generation. So 3 key points to wrap this one up. Number 1, visionary is that visionary wiring, their genetic encoding, plus the readiness piece, their visionary readiness. Number 2, if you're a visionary that thinks you're developing over time, then you better know where you are on that matrix. And number 3, if you own the business, you need to know where your business is on the visionary spectrum. Thanks for watching today. At Rocket Fuel Ventures, we're all about creating the most powerful visionary integrator duos on the planet, and we do that by helping you crystallize what it means to be a visionary and an integrator so you can understand if that concept can help you, and if you decide it can, to get connected with your complementary counterpart, and then finally maximize that relationship to make it everything it can be to help you take your company to the next level. So if you want more Rocket Fuel, please check out our website at rocketfuelnow.com, and that's where you can sign up for the weekly videos like this. Be sure you're getting these on a regular basis. You can also take the assessments so you can understand as a visionary or as an integrator where your strengths lie and what the shape is of your two-piece puzzles that can help you find that complementary counterpart. And finally, of course, read the book Rocket Fuel and keep those great reviews coming. So until next time, go Rocket!